What is a safe and welcoming school environment? It is not always an easy thing to describe in just a few words. The ideal environment doesn't rely only on laws, regulations, and policies at the federal, state, and district level. The ideal environment is dependent on how every school functions every day.
And what I can say that came out of this was the love and compassion that teachers demonstrated towards their students and helping them heal and helping them get back to some type of normalcy, not only in the classroom, but within the entire Newtown community. Everyone in here felt that sense of anxiety after Sandy Hook. If you were in a classroom, I don't care where in the country you were, you started to question the strength of your entryway in your building, or you started questioning how secure your door was, and what would happen if this happened in our school. And I think that that anxiety makes it difficult for you to do your jobs of educating your children. So what you need to do is go back to your schools and organize. If you could take anything from our experience, I think that's what I want you to do. I want you to go back, put together a safety committee, make sure that you have stakeholders from all the community on that committee, and make sure that you're listening to your membership, their concerns. Even if it may seem insignificant, you follow through on it.
Social and emotional learning can improve kids' behavior. It also improves their academic performance. So there's a twofer there, improving academic performance as well as behavior. Secondly, when teachers do the work versus bringing in outsiders, the results are always more significant, more beneficial when teachers do the work. It's not surprising because it's not, as some people say, about the curriculum. It's about day-to-day interaction and how things work. The other thing that we do a lot of work with is something we call teacher dialoguing. So when issues come up, when problems come up, and again, this doesn't change anything, it takes extra time in the day. How do you talk with kids about these issues? What is the problem they're thinking about? What are their feelings? What's their goal? What are different ways to handle these situations? What kind of consequences would that lead to? Those kinds of dialogues, I think, lay a powerful foundation to make kids active agents. So how do you not tell kids what to do, but to help them to think about how they want to approach situations and doing things to empower them to be active agents to contribute, and giving students voice is a big part of the work.
Right.
I sometimes think that I made the film Bully much more for like 12-year-old me than for 40-year-old me. And that's because I didn't have a voice then. And I thought if I could make a film about the experience of bullying, not an academic presentation, but actually walk an audience through what kids and educators go through every day on the front lines, that could potentially really create a shift, that it would lay to rest a lot of the justifications that allow it to continue in our schools and communities. Get kids talking to each other, talking to adults. You know, one simple exercise that we love talking about is called relationship mapping. And it may be in multiple different programs, but you know, it's saying get all the adults together at a staff meeting and put the names up on the wall of every student in your building that you have a relationship with. You know their name, you know something about them, you feel like you've had a real conversation. Like there's something there that's beyond nothing, right? And at the end of that process, as a community of adults, step back and look at who has nobody. And I guarantee you there will be surprises there. And then talk about what that means as a group. Make a plan for getting those kids connected. That's social emotional learning.
There's a school district in upstate New York called Cheektowaga School District. I always love saying it, Cheektowaga. So Cheektowaga, one of the things that they started with, and they realized they owned the problem. You know, and they're a school district that when we first started working with them in 2003, 2004, they were about 10 to 12% African American. By the time we left working with them about 4 or 5 years later, they're about 33% black. Okay, so they had a massive influx, and their struggle was, there was a shock and awe. They had deer in the headlights. population showing up, we don't know what to do. How do we manage this? And they started with doing a lot of, let's celebrate who the kids are. Let's celebrate all of our kids. And they spent the first couple of years doing some of that work, which was wonderful. But they realized along the way, as much as they were trying to celebrate the kids, they realized that they also had to unpack their own set of issues as adults and their own sets of cultural beliefs as to what they chose to celebrate among some kids. And so I use that example as that school district because they changed over time and realizing it's not just about the kids, but it's also about them as practitioners and having to do the work, the hard work in really creating the types of environments where you actually have intentional relational engagement happening in schools. Somehow we've lost within the policy realm a desire to understanding its close connection with achievement growth of kids. So I'd say that as an obstacle point, we have to really be intentional around shifting the mindset of where policy is going with this.